What happens when you call at 8:05? How many calls have you ever gotten?
A bunch.
You got a bunch. And you think they want to hear your call after they've already gotten 3 or 4? Imagine when you're calling by 10. I mean, they don't want to talk to you.
Well, they're not even answering the phone.
They're not even answering the phone. Yeah.
No one's picking up the phone.
Absolutely. What other questions?
When do you wake up?
2:45.
So walk us through your regimen.
Well, first, when do you go to bed?
Like 9.
Okay.
Yeah, 9. Sometimes 9:30. My regimen is I wake up 2:45. It takes me about 15 minutes to get going. I use the restroom, brush my teeth. And sometimes it switches a little bit. So right now I'm trying to lean out. So the first thing I do is I jump on a piece of cardio equipment for about 20 to 30 minutes. After that, and I'll usually read as I'm doing my cardio, or I'll listen to a podcast, or I'll listen to an Audible. After that, I stretch. From there, I meditate for about 10 to 15 minutes. And then I do a 10-minute visualization. I visualize what my business is going to look like. I visualize, my wife loves to travel. I mean, that's like her, that's what she wants to do later on in life, is just travel the world. So I visualize things that we travel. Sometimes I have my kids and my visions, et cetera. My visions are so vivid because I do it so much. I can literally close my eyes, and I've done it so many times. Me, my wife, my 2 daughters on the Great Wall of China, just walking up and down. Like, that's one of them. Or on the airplane, and it's an international airplane. So you have those pods, my wife's in the one, and I'm in this one, and we're just looking at each other, right? So visualization is very important. So I do visualization. After the visualization, I also run through my day, and I prep my day. I get everything prepared of how my day is going to work, literally by hour in my calendar. Everything's time blocked. And I make sure to execute as precisely as I can, because time is our most valuable asset. I know you've heard that. And for a lot of you, I'll just tell you that you don't have as much time as you think you do. Because typically when we look at how much time we have, we think of like retirement. But I'm intimately aware as I've gotten older that it doesn't work like that. Because as you get older, your energy changes. You don't look the same. You don't feel the same. Your ambitions change. And so even though you're like, okay, I'm going to make all this money, I'm going to retire, it doesn't work like that. So utilize the time that you have now, because it's not going to last. The world changes too, and who knows what's going to happen in a year from now, right? So time is the most valuable asset. So I would tell you, if you really want to be efficient with your time, learn to compress time. Anybody seen, I was just talking to somebody else about this. Has everybody here seen The Pursuit of Happiness? Yeah. How did Will Smith, what was your name? Nathan, how did Will Smith in The Pursuit of Happiness, how did he kind of beat everybody else? By the way, there's a book called 10X is easier than 2X. Has anybody read that? Read it. There's a great story about the Merrill Lynch, which I think was the same thing that The Pursuit of Happiness is, when he got into that stockbroker position. Merrill Lynch hires on 100 people for an 18-month program. And at the end of the 18 months, only 2 people are hired. The rest of the people are fired. Okay. Will Smith was in that same predicament, right? So do you remember how he was able to beat everybody else out?
He just didn't stop. He was really just dedicated to keeping going.
Yeah, he didn't get a drink of water. He had his water there. He didn't hang up the phone. He just dialed. That's efficiency with your time. So learn to become efficient with your time. Ed Milet, Jesse Itzler, they're big on compressing time. Okay, again, the time that we have, it's less than you think. It's your time that you have is less than you think you have. Okay, so just to finish off with my morning routine. So I stretch, I visualize, I meditate. Let me just look, because sometimes I forget. I have everything's in my phone, by the way, guys. I live by my calendar. I don't wake up and wing it. Why? Because I don't want to wake up and think, what do I got to do today? I just want to look. Okay, got to do this, got to do that. So I wake up, I write out my gratitude list, visualize, meditate. I do my affirmations. That takes 5 minutes. I write out my morning thoughts. And typically I reflect back on the day prior to. And then I read, but now I've been doing that while I do cardio. I make a protein shake, and then I get to the gym about 5:15. That's when I do my weights. After the gym, I sit in solitude for a little bit, set my intention for the day. Again, I review my schedule. and then I look at the canceled expireds and fizzles for the day, and I get them ready because I just don't call them all. Again, I want to be efficient with my time. I don't want to take listings that I know are not going to sell. And then at 7:15, I jump on a role play, and then by 7:30, I am on the phones. From 7:30 to about 8:30, I'm doing canceled expireds. 8:30 to 9, I do my for sale by owners. 9 to 10, I am doing. I'm following up on my leads that I spoke to how many days prior to. From 10 to 11, I'm calling my past clients, okay, or my circle of influence. From 11 to 12, I'm doing just listed, just sold calls. You guys do just listed, just sold calls, or circle prospecting?
Yeah, from time to time.
yeah.
Not everyone does it.
Okay, cool, no worries. And then from 11 to 12, I am calling, see, I don't have to think about it, I just look. I'm calling my follow-up boss leads, actually. And then from 1 to 2, maybe 12 to 1, any buyers, who has buyers where they can't find properties for them? And we know where they're looking, right? Who here is picking up the phone and calling a list and saying, hey, I have a buyer looking in the neighborhood, they're ready to go, inventory is very low, and we just can't find a property for them, and I was wondering, when do you plan on moving?
People that like non-expired or canceled,
No.
like listing
Properties that are not on the market.
Prospecting.
So I'll give you an example. I have a client named Alex. I met him at open house. He's looking to buy a home in Norwich. Budget over $1 million. So I know what kind of home he's looking for. It's got to be 4,000 square feet. So I just got a list, pulled it from Vulcan 7, of homes 4,000 square feet or plus, $800,000 or more, and I started calling. In 1 hour, I got 2 people that said that they would consider selling. One of those 2 was already thinking, maybe, hey, he's like, it's crazy. He's like, why are you calling me? He's like, how'd you know to call me? And I'm like, I'm just calling for a buyer, And he's like, because my wife and I were just talking yesterday that maybe we should sell. And I'm like, well, that's great. Tell me a little bit about the home. I had a conversation with him. I checked back with my client, gave him the address. He looked it up and he's like, I think it might work. But regardless if it's going to work or not, I'm going to follow up with them. And guess what? I'm going to say it might not work for them. But if you are planning to sell, it may make sense based on the conversation that we had that we get together and I take a walk through it. Are you planning to interview agents? Or I should say, better question is, when are you planning to interview agents? So these are all very focused, viable activities that we should be doing, right? What do you typically do in a day? What was your name? Tori.
Honestly, I really just focus on buyer leads, so I go through the follow-up boss. We have like 35 different lead sources, so I just go through buyers.
Okay.
I don't think I have the skill set yet for expired FISBOs.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I go through all of our lead sources that come in, upload all of our expired FISBO data.
Okay. Tabor?
So I'm the director of operations here. So
Oh.
it's paperwork back end, but I have most of my business off the side of it is Sphere space.
Robin?
I do a mix of everything. I actually had a client that I was working with who I started to reverse prospect and find houses. Then he said he didn't want to go that route. So I stopped. But I felt like I should, now after hearing you, I feel like I should just have done that. And just,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have known if it, maybe it would have been a little bit of a conversation like, look, they came off the market, but they're still willing. Do you want to have a showing?
Who calls?
I don't know how to
Sorry.
handle when your client tells you not to do something, if you should pursue it or not.
Well, you can still do it because you can say, well, and you're not lying. Unfortunately, he just said that he doesn't want me to pursue it this way. But since we had this conversation, would you like to get together and discuss the sale? Right? Anybody call for sale by owners? Just Eddie?
I do too. We're dialing right now.
You guys,
Yeah, we have a database.
okay. Let me just, for sale by owners, they're literally going, hey, I'm trying to sell my house. Hey. So there's a hierarchy of prospecting that you should focus on, okay? And that is because there is the ratio of ability to convert these people. The highest conversion rate, or I should say the highest dollar per hour prospecting, is definitely your past clients in your circle of influence or sphere of influence, because they know who you are. They're typically not going to interview other brokers, et cetera. So if you're not calling your past clients, they are of the highest value per hour. And if you're like, what does he mean per hour? Okay, that's something that you should be aware of. Your rate per hour is what you should be. That's the value of who you are and how much you're paid. So my rate per hour is about I think it's about $682 an hour. Okay, when I call my past clients, it jumps, and this is going to be astounding, but it jumps to about $2,000 per hour. Why? Because when I call my past clients, I know that I'm probably going to not have to spend too much time on them and get a referral out of it. So just understand that. If you hesitate to call your past clients, you need to start calling them. People you know, it doesn't matter. At one time in my career, I didn't want to call them, and it's just because I had a conflict in my head. I knew I was calling them to see how they're doing, but yet in the back of my mind, I knew that I was calling them to get business. That makes sense? And so I just kind of felt like it wasn't an honest thing. Yeah, it wasn't sincere. But then I understood a little bit differently on how to call them, because I understood the skill of communication and to communicate with them, number one, in their personality style. Number two, to communicate them where it's a value to them, not to me, right? So let's talk about, I want to finish a hierarchy, and let's talk about, we'll talk about personality styles, very important. And then we're going to talk about how to communicate with value, okay? So hierarchy of prospecting. The new canceled expireds, because why? Anybody know where we're calling them first thing in the morning first? They're the lowest hanging fruit. Like, we know that they're just trying to sell. Who here has called someone, they're like, oh, I no longer want to sell? Rashid, what do you say?
I say, so if someone were a good fit and they wanted to put in an offer, would you even want to call about that, or would you say it's off the table? Do
you think they're being candid with you?
I can never tell, but if they keep saying no, I can't really push back.
Okay. Can I give you, let's go through a quick scenario. And I don't mean this in any biased way to a female or a male, et cetera, okay? Janie Smith just broke up with her boyfriend, okay? And she's telling all her friends, I'll never date again, and blah, blah, blah. And they go out, they're eating dinner, and I'm done with guys. An Adonis walks into the room. Hi, Jane. Hi, my name's Angela. What's your name? Oh, I'm Janie. She might just start dating again, right? You guys get the point? When they're like, oh, I'm not interested. You're at a bar. This beautiful woman comes in, red dress, showing her cleavage and glitter, right? And you walk up to her and say, oh, my name's Sohail. What your name is? Oh, I'm just getting some fresh air. Really? Glitter cleavage, you're just getting fresh air? You guys get my point? I'm just trying to get it to understand, okay? Be aware that most of the things that you hear are not the reality of the situation. And so how do you break past it? By asking great questions in closing, okay? So canceled expires should be first. Next should be the for sale by owners. After the for sale by owners, just like I said, you should go into your hot leads. From your hot leads, you should be going to your past clients. And then you should always be hitting the just list of just solds every day, okay? Let's talk about for sale by owners. Well, maybe not, because it's just you two calling them, but you and I can talk, yeah.
Well, really quickly, I wanted to ask, like, how many appointments is it your goal to set per week? And on average, how many appointments are you setting per week?
2 QLAs a day. You know what QLA is?
Can you tell me?
Qualified listing appointment. The reason I say qualified is because if you're not pre-qualifying them, then they're not a true, even though you set the appointment, you don't know if they're overpriced, you don't know what's going on, so you gotta pre-qualify them, okay? And you have to know how to pre-qualify. Otherwise, you're wasting your time. We've all taken listings that don't sell. Why? Because we probably didn't qualify them good enough. We've gone on listing appointments and they're like, oh, I think I'm gonna wait till next year. Why? Because we didn't qualify them. So it's so important. It's not just buyers. You have to qualify every person that you're speaking with because your time is valuable. And once you understand that, that's when, again, your per hour income is gonna go up because you're gonna be working more efficiently, all right? So personality styles, anybody know the personality styles? I'm gonna get straight to the point with them because I don't wanna waste their time and I know they're in a rush to get somewhere. Who knows where, but driver's always in a rush, okay? So, I hope that you share this video because it's gonna be good with everybody, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take some more questions on what I just said. Anything?
Can you go over your like FSBO script?
Yeah.
Or like,
So I do a little different. Ring, ring.
hello?
Hey, John. My name's Sohail. I'm a local real estate broker, John. And listen, I'm sure you're getting bombarded with calls from brokers, right?
Yeah,
And respectfully, I don't want to waste your time. Can I just ask you a candid question?
sure.
So if this doesn't sell by owner, John, are you planning to interview a professional?
Potentially, it depends on commission. We're just trying to save money right now.
Oh, of course. Yeah. And when would that be?
We're going to give it about a month and a half.
Okay. A month. Okay, John, great. Is it okay if I check back with you then?
Sure.
Awesome. And John, you know what? God, I mean, I don't want to like come off a little bit aggressive here, but would you be open to getting together sooner?
Potentially.
Okay. And so what's important to you about getting together sooner?
We just want to get out of this home as fast as possible.
So tell me no.
No.
Okay. Where do you go from there? If you can't set the appointment for a forced sale by owner, where do you go from there?
We'll be back to your follow-up.
So I'm going to follow up with John a week later. John, this is Sohail. You were kind enough to speak with me last week, and I have a question. Did you end up selling your home yet?
No.
So John, since we spoke last week, I sold 2 homes like yours here in the neighborhood. I'm curious, when are you available to talk about the sale of your home? Tell me no.
Like I said, we're giving it a month and a half.
A week later, hey John, this is Sohail, local real estate broker. You know, we spoke a few times already. And last time we spoke, I told you about the 2 homes that I sold, right?
Yep,
John, have you sold your home yet?
we have not.
Well, I want to let you know, John, we just had the appraisal on one of those homes. I'm sorry, we just had the inspection on one of those homes. And these buyers, they wanted $5,000 from the inspection. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
It's crazy. But you know what, John? Due to my great negotiating skills, we were able to negotiate that $5,000 down to $500. Isn't that great? Sellers are thrilled. And John, now that you know that I know how to sell homes in the neighborhood, I know how to negotiate inspections. Curious, what are you doing today at 5 o'clock? Tell me no.
Month and a half.
A week later, hey John, this is Sohail, your favorite realtor. I wanted to let you know, John, that we did an appraisal on the home over on Long Street. The appraiser tried to tell me the property was $50,000 less than the contract price. Can you believe that?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. But John, you know what? Due to my great negotiating skills for appraisals, we're able to renegotiate the appraisal, and I was able to get the price above where they're at. And so now that you know that I know how to sell homes here in the neighborhood, negotiate an inspection, negotiate an appraisal, I'm curious, what are you doing today at 5 o'clock?
Month and a half.
I just keep going.
And just so you know, every single person has the same sheet sitting over here. Every single thing Sohail just said is scripted week by week by week. So people are saying we don't know what to do, skill set, this and that. It's fucking sitting right here. Every single person has this. It's bullshit.
So, Bill, what do you think average, how many times you have to call someone like that to get them to meet?
Oh, I mean, this is all statistics, and let me just share with you where the research comes from. Stanford University, Yale, Harvard, National Sales Association, National Association of Realtors, Chicago Association of Realtors. I mean, it just goes on, right? 12 to 15 touches. It used to be 8 to 12, but in today's market, 12 to 15 touches. Why do you need so many touches?
Stay top of mind.
That's one reason. Why else?
People are busy. They don't answer the phone. They just they forget about stuff. We live in a world of
Yeah.
instant gratification and distractions.
Absolutely. And you know what? I want,
Spare,
huh?
because they're not spare. So you have to kind of.
You
like,
have
slowly
to,
chip
yes.
away to their trust.
Because, but the thing to understand, and I'm not even talking about touches, conversations. It could take 12 to 15. Okay? Now, it's because there's so much noise going around them. They're having a lot of phone calls from agents, number one. They're probably getting shit in the mail, right? There's just so much. So there's so much noise. You have to break through the noise. And in order to break through the noise, you have to get attention. In order to get attention, you have to do something that's going to go above and beyond. Personally, if I can't get someone on the phone, I'm just going to go door knock it. I mean, why am I going to, right? Just go talk to them. The goal is to get in front of them anyways. Why not just grab my listing presentation and just say, hey, my name's Sohail. I saw your home came into the market. You know, I was trying to reach you over the phone and I wasn't able to, and I'm just curious, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent so you can get this sold? And if they're like, oh, I'm not interested, you want to know what a really good salesperson would do? If they're like, yeah, I don't know. I understand you don't know. Look, I'm here. and I have my presentation. Do you have 5 minutes? No, not today. Okay. I understand. I mean, since I'm here though, like, would it be an issue if I just came in and met with you for 5 minutes? Oh, you know what? My kids are home. Okay. No problem. I'll be back tomorrow at 5. Oh, we're not in. Oh, no problem. Listen, I'm committed. I understand that you want to get the home sold regardless what you decide. I'll just be back here anyways. Do you guys see there's something called selling from contribution, okay? And I'll give you a good example. If Mother Teresa, Nathan, which one's Nathan? Nathan, if Mother Teresa was coming to save your soul and you're like, no, I'm not interested, do you think she's just going to go away? What's she going to do?
Come back.
Yeah, because she's coming to save your soul. That's contribution, okay? Has anybody seen the movie Gran Turismo?
Yeah.
There's a really good part in that movie, which I always reference this because it's so good. And it's the part where Clint Eastwood, his wife dies, right? And he's at his home, and then the priest comes over, and he said, Mr. Kowalski, I promised your wife I would check on you. And he's like, he's like, you little pimple-faced punk, get off my lawn. And he tries to shut the door, and the guy puts, sorry, Mr. Kowalski, I promised your wife I would check on you. That's contribution, okay? When you have so much confidence and belief in what you're doing, other people can't deny that. Now, on the opposite, if you don't believe in yourself, why would anybody else believe in you? So you have to get your confidence so strong and your faith in what you're doing so strong that nothing can stop you, okay? My license plate says never quit. Why? Because I'm not gonna take no for an answer. If I'm at someone's door and they're like, oh, I'm not interested, and if I can't get the appointment, I'll just come back tomorrow. I already told you I'm not interested. Oh, of course, but that was yesterday. It's been 24 hours. Something may have changed. Do you have 5 minutes? No, we're not sure what we're going to do. Okay. Hey, Eddie, I know that you said you're not interested, but I just sold your neighbor's home, and I was wondering, do you have 5 minutes? Because we could talk about how that one got sold, and maybe you might get interested. Do you have 5 minutes?
No, I'm not interested.
Okay. Come back again. Hey, Eddie, I know that yesterday you said you weren't interested, but it's been 24 hours. Something may have changed. I was just curious if something's changed.
All right, come on.
You guys get it? You have to convince people to believe in yourself just like you believe in yourself. Confidence is such an important aspect of this business. Has anybody been around someone that's so confident that it's like you can't deny their confidence? Or if you've been in a date with somebody, in a debate with somebody, and they're such a strong believer, you're like, all right. Like they convince, even though you came in there believing something, like you believe in what they believe in because they're so confident in their belief. And that's confidence, right? Let's take a few more questions. And I could go on all day long, but I know that we got to make some money here.
So talk to us about your dialing metrics. Like some people hung up on talk tos.
I don't count dials. I don't count contacts, and you guys should. I'm just at a different, place in my career. I think that a lot of people, when they're focused on dials and they're focused on contacts, they lose focus of what's really important. That's setting appointments. They'll have this false fulfilling prophecy that they made 30 contacts and didn't set an appointment, and they're like, yeah, I did it. Right? You didn't do shit. Where's the listing agreement? Right? I have a friend named Thatch. He's out of Seattle, and he's pretty unique. He'll say, "Why would I make 30 contacts when I can make one and set an appointment?" Just think about this. You get these people on the phone. Why are you letting them off? Like you should be driving and closing for the appointment to the point where either they hang up on you or they're fucking pissed. And if they're not pissed, you're not doing your job. If you don't set the appointment or if you're not pissing them off, you're not doing your job. It's just the reality of it. And I know some people are like, well, I don't want to get them mad because maybe one day they'll like me and they're going to list with me. Again, another false, self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're not, number one, if they're not setting the appointment, they're not going to hire you no matter what. Okay, so lose that like I want to be nice thing because it doesn't work. And you don't have to be pushy, but you have to be very charismatic when you're closing on the sale. You saw how I closed with Eddie, right? You saw how I followed up with him. What are you doing today at 5 o'clock? No, a month and a half. Okay. But would it hurt to get together? No, my wife. Oh, of course, if your wife, you just got to keep closing, right? When you get someone on the phone, how many times do you close?
3.
5 to 7. Rashid, can we get together today? No. Well, if today's not good for you, how about tomorrow? No. Rashid, tomorrow may not work, and today it's Monday Night Football. I get that it's not going to work. I'll see you Wednesday at 5. No, I'm not available Wednesday. God, the weekdays may not work. I'm available Saturday, and I don't mind stopping by around 10 a.m. Does that work for you? Absolutely not. Rashid, I understand that the weekend may not work, but it's important that you have an agent that's not going to take the listing and screw it up. I'm adamant about us getting together. So I don't mind stopping by today within the next 30 minutes. Can you get together? No. That's 5 closes. Hold your hand up just when you're on the phone call. Can I get together? Close. Too many people think that there's 3 phases, whether you're in the presence of somebody or on the phone. And too many people think that they're going to say something like so prolific that the seller is going to say, oh my God, I'm going to hire you. It doesn't work like that. Who knows where the magic happens? No, but so let me just clarify that. There's 3 parts to a presentation. Again, whether you're in the presence of or on the phone, you have the introduction, you have the presentation, and then you have the close. Where does the magic happen?
Close.
The close. So I always wonder, why do people spend so much time introduction, getting to know the other person, the presentation, rather than the close? And then what happens at the end of the presentation, they're like, yeah, so, do you want to let me know, or, do you want to move forward? No, we'll let you know. Oh, okay. Oh, thank God. No. Look, if I'm at someone's house and they're like, we want to pray on it. You know what? I'm a man of faith as well. Let's go ahead and do this, Mr. and Mrs. Santiago. Let's close our eyes. And let's say that if this chandelier doesn't fall on the table in the next minute, God has answered our prayers. 60 seconds, 59. We want to sleep on it. Of course. How big is that couch over there? It's about 6 feet. You have a pillow? Hey, let's sleep on it. I'm good. I'm committed. I'm not going anywhere. So we can either do this now or we can talk in the morning. What do you guys want to do? Right? I mean, think about it. You're putting all this effort in, okay? The time, like for example, this time that we have together, okay, it's non-refundable. So when we leave this little meeting here today and we get back on the phones, we can't get this time back. I can't go back in time and it's gone. I could have spent this time sleeping. I could have spent it with my family. I could have spent it improving my skills. Don't waste time. Go for it, guys. Go for the shot, man. And if you're not going for the shot, what are you doing? If you're not committed to your goals and you're not pushing to make your dreams come true, what are you doing? And I say this lovingly because I've been there. I mean, I've been doing this for a long time. I have a team of people. Like I said, I realized at the end of the year that they weren't committed or they couldn't do it for whatever reason. I let them go. I said, you guys, you know what? This isn't for you, or it's just not a good fit for the team. I started off with 10. I'm down to 1 full-time person, 1 agent on my team. My operations manager, she was great, but she didn't match our core values. She's gone. She's gone. Why? Because I don't have time. I don't have time to waste. And if people aren't in the same ride with me, and if they're not on the same path, and if they're not sharing the same vision, and if they're not sharing the same core values, I don't have time to wait and find out how it's going to work out, okay? I'm committed to one thing. I'm committed to my dreams. I'm committed to my goals. I'm committed to making things happen. And I'm not going to let anybody stop me. And the longer they're with me, guess what? The problem persists. It's not going away, okay? You know how many times I was telling Rafi this when we had lunch the other day? 7:15 every morning. I'm waking up, I'm meeting with my team, we're role playing, and I say, hey, Carmen, let's go. You're up. Ring, ring. Yeah, hello. I'm sorry. Call me. So she's calling me. Yeah, hello, how can I help you? Yeah, hi, this is Carmen, and I'm calling because I was wondering, when do you plan to interview the right agent? You know what, I already have an agent. Oh, the fuck, it's been 6 months. 23 Main Street, yeah?
Yeah.
Great. And Alex, I see that it just came off the market, and I was curious, when do you plan on interviewing the right agent so you can sell this home?
Man, you're like the fifth person to call me. We're
5?
honestly not even going to.
Well, Alex, it's only 10 o'clock. You've had 5 calls already?
We have
And how many appointments have you set up thus far?
0.
Alex, I'll be your first. Let's go ahead and get together. I'll see you today at 5.
No, I don't want to meet today at 5.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Today's Wednesday. I think there's Wednesday night football. I'll see you tomorrow at 5.
I'm going to the bars with my friends to watch Thursday night.
The bars. Well, listen, you have a great time. I'm going to be in the neighborhood Saturday morning. Do you know the Gonzalez family?
I do not.
Well, you walk out your front door, you make a right. At the first street on the left, I think it's Merrill, go halfway down the block, left-hand side, the blue home, that's their home. Just put their home under contract. So I got to be there Saturday at 10 a.m. to put a for sale sign in their home. Why don't I stop by your home about 10:15 and spend 15 minutes with you?
I can't. We're going to be tailgating for college football.
Wow. You know, I don't work on Sundays, but I guess I'll see you Sunday at 10.
I'll do that.
So like,
Well, but I do, guys.
How could you practice your communication skills? How can you build them?
Great question. So I just want to add to that and just hold that thought, okay? Because people do say, I don't want to use the script. Now, Phantom of the Opera. Everybody know who Phantom of the Opera is? Okay. Andrew Lloyd Webber created Phantom of the Opera. The person that played the Phantom, okay, I think this was 3 or 4 years ago. The Broadway musical was sold out every fucking time, every week. The guy was burnt out who played the Phantom. I can't remember his name, but he wanted to quit. So Andrew Lloyd Webber said, okay, I don't want you to quit. I'm going to pay you not $1 million, but now I'm going to pay you $2 million per show. Convince him to stay. Those tickets sell no less than $2,000 sometimes, okay? And people buy them, they're sold out. But yet, at the local theater here in Evanston, Roy and the Royettes are doing Phantom of the Opera. And those tickets are $25, maybe sometimes $10 in nosebleed seats. And they don't pack it. But why? They're saying the same thing. They're using the same script. The music's the same. And the whole theme is the same. What's the difference? And we know?
The quality of the performer.
Because one is Broadway and one isn't. So do you want to play at a level of the Royettes, Roy and the Royettes, or do you want to play at the Broadway level? All you have to do is become great at the scripts. And then once you become good at the scripts, it doesn't end there, guys. Because from there, guess what? Then you have to become good at your body language, your smiles, the way you nod your head when you're talking to somebody, maybe touching the shoulder and say, yeah, I get what you're saying, Rafi. Your tonality, the accentuation of words, and then when you tone them down. When I say to Ed, curious, do you absolutely need to sell this home? I'm just curious, when do you plan on moving? The pauses. Ed, you're thinking the price to sell, or it's probably going to sit in the market for a really long time. And you don't want that, do you? So do you see how much more we can improve even if you know the scripts? There's a long way to go. And there's only one way to get there, and that's to practice every fucking day and become good. That's it. And when someone says, I don't want to do the scripts, or not my personality style, blah, 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 just go back. Andrew Lloyd Webber probably didn't want to, he probably looked at that script and was like, man, I don't want to be the Phantom. $2 million, all right, let's get to work. You know? So, all right, so what were you saying? Neuro-linguistic programming? I don't know what this is. I'll throw it away later. So that's a form of communication. When you start to communicate at a high level, you understand that there's so many ways to communicate because of psychology, how you use your tonality, the body language, mirror and matching, et cetera. And there's also things called embedded commands. There's model operators. There's tie downs. There's pace, 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 lead. There's a lot of techniques in communication, right? Don't be scared to let you ever get on the phone with somebody, you ask them a question, it gets silent? Yeah. Who breaks? Like, no, just like Max, when you're on a phone call and it gets, where you're like, hello?
Yeah, it's usually me.
Yeah, I don't. I sit there.
Whoever speaks first loses.
I sit there. When I tell someone, you know what, let's go ahead and do this. Go ahead and sign the contract so I can help you get what you want. Won't that be great? Go ahead and sign it.
Yeah, I mean, it would be great, but how do I know what you're going to get it done?
Sign the contract.
How are you going to get it done?
Well, I just went through the presentation with you. Is there anything in the presentation you have questions on?
Not really.
Sign the contract. Because I'm confident. Oh, we want to think about it. You know what? You know why I'm here. We talked on the phone. I'm here to earn your business. Sign the contract. Let's not play nonsense with each other.
Your listing contract.
Not only am I bringing it, when I confirm the appointment, I call them up and I say, Alex, I'm just calling to confirm that we're still on for today at 3 o'clock. Yeah?
Yeah.
Great. And did you have a chance to read through the package that I dropped off?
I have not yet.
Okay. Now, it's really important. Let's just say you did, because if they haven't read it, by the way, I'm not going. I'm not going. Why? Because I'm not going to go there and try and convince them something that they should. When I go on a listing appointment, I'm going there to do one thing. Get the contract signed. The best listing appointment that you can do is up front. When you send them the information, you provide everything, the price, the approach, the strategy, etc. The only thing that you should be going there to do is to get the contract signed. Now, of course, they're going to be like, well, you might have to walk them through a comparative market analysis, etc. Notice I said walk them through it, okay? But I'm calling them and I'm going to say, have you read the package? You're going to say, yeah, I read it. Great. Now, Alex, do you have any questions on it?
Commission.
Okay, did you see the sales and marketing agreement in there?
Yes.
Because my sales and marketing agreements are in there, and the commission's in there. So most people are like, either they haven't read or they have. And then I'm going to say, look, at this stage, most people just want to hire me. And that's okay. If you want to, I don't mind. So all you have to do is go in your email. You're going to see a DocuSign that my team sent over. What you do is you open up that email. You open the DocuSign. There's going to be some prompts for your initials and signatures. And I'll make this easy on you, and we don't have to waste time. My teams are ready to get to work. All you have to do is just follow the prompts, sign off on it. It'll come back to us, and I'm going to get to work today. Does that work for you?
Yes.
And if he was like, well, I still want to meet, no problem. So we're still on for today at 3 o'clock. Great. See, there are stages along the way. And when I'm at the listing presentation, not only am I doing assumptive closes, I'm future pacing these people, I'm closing multiple times. So as I go through the home and I come back and we sit down at the dining table, I'll start off with my introduction and blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, you know what? I noticed that you have some really nice furniture and fixtures in this property. When I bring the buyer through, because they see my Sohail real estate sign in front and they want to buy this home through me, are we going to include the furniture or is that not an option? And typically, once I get multiple offers on this home for you, we're going to have to go into what's called a multiple offer situation. Now, do you want to ask for highest and best, or do you want me to counter them individually? See what I'm doing here? I'm setting the expectation. I am doing assumptive closes, and I'm future pacing them that I'm going to be the agent. And then when I ask them, are you planning to, well, number one, in the pre-qual, I ask them if they're planning to interview any other agents. When they say, yes, I'm planning to interview other agents, okay, good. How many? 3. Wonderful, okay, 3. And I know most of the agents, and I'll tell you if they're good or not, who plan a meeting with. Now, a lot of times they don't want to tell me, but if they do, or I go on a listing appointment, I see another agent that's leaving, or I'm waiting, because it happens. This is a cutthroat business, guys. I did a listing presentation 3 months ago, and I saw a friend of mine there. And that woman was walking out before me. And I went and I go, was that so-and-so? Yeah. God, she's so nice. She's so nice. She's a friend of mine. There's a group of us. We're all friends. And we just say, God, it would be great if she could just do a deal one time in her life because she really needs a new car. Either you're a professional or you're an amateur. You have to decide. Nobody else is going to decide for you. Right? When I go on a listing appointment and I'm like, which other agents are you going to be interviewing after me? Oh, we're going to interview so-and-so. Okay. God, you're going to interview him? Really? how'd you happen to set the appointment with him? Why? Because I'm creating doubt now, right? Well, I'm surprised he still has a real estate license for all the disciplinary acts he's had against him for, unethical stuff. Do you see the difference? Like, do you see how good you can get versus where you're at now? Or when you think someone's good and you're like, damn, like they can be a lot better. There's so much we can do to be better. Every step of the way. It's Broadway. The way you introduce yourself, how you park your car at the presentation, and how I walk up to the house, and first I go on the left side and look at the house, and I go to the right side, and then knock on the door and I make sure that my side, not where there's a brick wall, right? I make sure my side profile, and I, hey there. It's all Broadway. We are performers, guys. We are performers. In order to be a good performer, you have to practice, just like anything else. What other questions?
We're doing like a book a month, like a little book club.
Uh-huh.
What's like one book where like you can get multiple books that kind of like changed your path, or that you think that's been really effective?
So I said 10x is easier than 2x. Yeah, it's better than 2x, easier than 2x. Amplify your influence. God, I read a book a week, and there's so many. Right now, I'm reading there's a book, I don't know. It's a good book. You may not get it. It's a kind of a magical book. It's called The Science of Getting Rich. I read that once a week. I go through, when I read, I study the books. But in order to study them, what I do is I read them, I highlight the golden nuggets, because in most books, it's just fluff. So you have to find the golden nuggets, and then I write them out, and then I just look over what I wrote out. So I'm always reflecting back. But I try to read a book a week. And Amplify Your Influence is one right now that I'm reading.
Renee Rodriguez.
Yes, Renee Rodriguez.
Met him.
Yep. There's some books that I just read by Coach Michael Burt. He has one on lead follow-up and a couple other ones. God, there's so many good books. Jed Blunt has some good books on prospecting, fanatical prospecting. I just bought here, actually, let me see. Let's see what books I just bought.
By the way, I think the first dinner we had, it was like several years back.
Yeah.
At Uncle Julio's. We grabbed margaritas, we crushed them, and then we went straight to Borders. Him and I.
Yeah, we did.
We didn't go home.
That's right.
And then we walked out with like 8 books apiece, both of us. So,
Yeah, here, I'll just tell you what books I just, where the heck's my order? But while I'm doing this, what other questions, guys? I want to get as much value to as I can.
It's an election year, so it's a little bit unique with people's kind of like circumstances and like what they're
Yeah,
in mind.
that's a good
Like,
question already.
Pitch that you use for like election years or kind of like odd years.
I do, but I ask a lot of questions because you have to be very careful. So I would say something like, if they're like, well, I'm going to wait until summer, because we get those. Really, what's important to you about summer? Whatever they say, it really doesn't matter, because my job is to convince them that if they wait till summer, they're going to miss the market. And honestly, that's true, because I think this first quarter is going to be crazy. We have such low inventory, rates have come down, there's barely homes in the market. And I do believe that once we get to the second half of this year, it's going to be,
Like dead.
Well, I think it's going to be, this is me being positive. I'm not looking forward to the second half of the year. I think it's going to be, you guys, we are in a historic election year. Like, American history historic. And and our country is in massive despair. There's no plan. We have, does anybody know the history of Argentina?
I do.
Are you from Argentina? Or not Argentina, Venezuela.
Yeah, but I have read a lot about it.
You guys want to hear about it?
Well, their dollar is like worth nothing.
Huh?
Are you talking about inflation?
No. It's bigger than that. Should I tell them or no?
Go ahead.
I think I told Eddie one time. Venezuela was one time the richest country in the world. Just like here, everybody wanted to go there, right? And what happened was, first, the government took the rights of the citizens to bear arms. And then after that, they opened up the borders, and the country became flooded with illegal immigrants. Again, everybody wanted to go there because it was one of the richest countries. And then it became loose on crime, okay? And after they became loose on crime, they the government started saying we have a humanitarian crisis. We have all these people in the streets, they have nowhere to go, and we don't know what to do with them, so we're going to ask people to start hosting some of these people. And not a lot of people wanted to do that. So then the government said, if you don't host, it's illegal. And so what happened was they told the immigrants knew that, so immigrants started forcing their way to people's homes. If you owned a home in Venezuela during this time, and if you protected your home or your family, guess who was the criminal? You. You would go to jail. It was opposite land, just like here. And then eventually what happened is the illegal immigrants and et cetera, they pushed the citizens from in their homes onto the streets. And then the citizens lost their rights. And that's what happened. Now look at the country. And so I don't say that to like put fear into you guys at all, because every one of us can do something about our future, okay? And I like to say the one thing that you can combat any slow market, it doesn't really matter the market. This is a better point. It doesn't matter about the market because there's top producers in every market that make money. So that's kind of an excuse. You know what matters? You. What you do today will dictate what happens to you 3 months from now, 6 months from now. So we have full control. And again, all we have to do is become great at what we're doing. That's it. It's not magic. Because people all the time are like, how do they try to look for this magic way to set appointments, or they're going to say something where the sellers are going to be like, oh my God, that was amazing. No, it's just you have to believe in yourself, know what to say, know how to say it, have a strong focus on being persistent. Being persistent when you're in the presence of somebody and on the phone. Because we all know once you let them off the phone, or once you leave that listing appointment, your chances of getting that appointment or your chances of setting that appointment diminish dramatically. Okay? Yeah.
So does that mean you're not setting too many follow-ups? Like you're kind of qualifying right there if it's going to be something you can set an appointment for? Because you said if you're not going to do it there, you don't want to keep following up and
Yeah.
ask the same thing. So
I'm going to exhaust the conversation as much as I can. I'm going to try and pre-qualify them on that call, because guess what? Has anybody set an appointment and then you call them back to pre-qualify and you can't get them on the phone? Because they stop answering. So you cannot let them off the phone. You have to do everything you can within that conversation to set the appointment, pre-qualify, et cetera. And then once I set the appointment, I'd send them a text message. Hey, just want to let you know, we have the appointment confirmed for Monday at 3 p.m. This is my cell. Please save this. I'm going to be calling you Monday just to confirm. You'll see my number come through then, and then you know who I am, and you can answer that call.
So I think a lot of us just get super ecstatic or happy when someone says yes to us and that they want to meet with us. And your biggest thing right now is like pre-qualification. What are your steps of that pre-qualification, your questions that you're asking
Okay.
are like the most important?
Yeah.
points to-
So you're like, yeah, okay, fine. 3 o'clock Monday, that works for you. Great. And Alex, I just have a few more questions, okay?
Yeah.
And these are really important. So Alex, I see here that it looks like you updated your home. What updates have you done in the past 2 years?
We got new kitchen countertops and we refinished the floors as of 6 months.
Okay.
And new appliances.
Okay, great. And can you briefly describe the home for me?
Yeah, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 full baths. We have ranch style home. We have a detached 2-car garage, backyard, big spacious backyard for our kids, and we're like 5 blocks from the K through 4 school.
Okay, great. Thank you for that. And remind me again, where are you moving to next?
We need a bigger home.
Okay, and you're staying local?
Yeah, we have another kid on the way.
Excellent. And just so you know, we're going to have you set there too. I have a great buyer's agent. Do you want me to bring him with on this appointment, or do you want me to just share his information with you? He's really good, probably the best in the industry.
You can bring him too.
Okay, great. And Alex, how soon do you need to be there?
There's no big timetable. We need to be in our new home by the next school year. So we're in the middle of the school year right now. We need to be, so May, June, July, August.
Okay, sounds good. Now, if it was a canceled, or if it was a canceled expired, I'm going to say, hey, Alex, I see that you last listed the home here at $500,000. When I see you, how much do you really want to list the home for?
Yeah, we need like about $500,000.
Okay. And Alex, every now and then, it's not all the time, but every now and then someone's going to come and they want to make a cash offer and they might take it as is and give you everything that you want. Maybe it's a little lower, let's say 450. Is that something you would consider?
Yeah, we don't have to deal with any finance contingencies.
Excellent. And Alex, how many other brokers do you plan to interview for the job of selling this property?
One more.
Great. And who is that?
It's my wife's cousin.
Your wife's cousin. Okay, great. You know what they say about working with friends and family, right?
No, what did they say?
Well, they say it's never good because if they don't sell the home and something doesn't go right, you have to meet them at your holiday dinners and et cetera. And you don't want to ruin or tarnish that relationship, do you?
That's fair.
Yeah. Talk to your wife. It may make sense that you cancel that appointment. Okay.
So it sounds like
To set the appointment. That's my goal. It's not to my goal is to set the appointment. And then my next goal is to pre-qualify them to make sure I even want it. Like if you say, yeah, I want 500,000 and I know that it's not going to sell more than 4, I'm going to start digging a little deeper. Well, what if we get an offer for 400,000 cash? Would you consider it? No, absolutely not. Really? Well, Alex, can I be candid with you? I mean, I know this market. I've sold numerous homes here, and just based on what the market's doing, I think it would be almost impossible to get more than maybe 400. You know, if we get lucky, 425. And I know that you need to get to Florida, right? Now, what if this home doesn't sell? What happens with your move to Florida?
it's on pause.
It's on pause. Okay. And so what happens if you don't move there?
We just endure the cold. We hunker down.
So, but if he tells me like I have to be there, I have to be in Florida, and how soon you have to be there, do you absolutely have to make this move? Yes, it's a job relocation. I'm going to keep digging. And I'm be like, well, like if you don't sell this home, would you rent it? What would you do? Would you let it sit vacant? Does that serve you well? What else could you do with the money if I sell your home and I get you top dollar, which would probably be around 425? Could you use that money somewhere in Florida? Can you put into your kid's college fund? So I'm going to dig deeper, right? Because I'm either going to cancel it. If I don't believe that it's going to sell, I'm going to cancel it. I'm not going to go there to waste my time, okay? Who sets condo appointments downtown? How many condos sell downtown right now?
Not a lot.
So I'll give you a tip. Before you even call, okay, before you even call that appointment, look to see how many units have sold in that building in the last 2 years. Because I can tell you, I'll set an appointment with somebody and I'll pull up the listing and there's like 30 condos on the market there and none of them are pending or under contract. Like, what do you think my chances are of taking that listing, putting it up? I'm going to spend money on the photos. I'm going to waste my time, waste my money, right? So reconsider that. You have to work smarter. Remember, your time, efficiency, and the ability to be much more effective are really important.
What are 2 non-negotiables that everyone needs to hear? 2 non-negotiables for Sohail on a daily basis, no matter what happens. Fire, earthquake, fucking murder down the street. Like, what are 2 non-negotiables?
I will not miss my prospecting. I will never miss an opportunity to prospect. It is the single highest, most valuable thing that we do with our time, is talking to people about buy or sell real estate. Also, prospecting, I don't want you to think like you have to call cancel. You could, but the bottom line is you have to talk to people about buying or selling real estate, and it has to be new people. I don't care if you pick up the phone and just start dialing out of the phone book and just saying, hey, my name's Sohail, I'm a real estate broker in the area, and I was just curious, when do you plan on moving? Never. Really? Well, I guess essentially you would be moving into like a box, right? That's like 8 by 2. Is it going to be pine or oak, or what kind of box do you plan on moving to? Right? That's it. If you spend, God, I don't know how much time you're spending now, but if you spend realistically, because I know that a lot of us don't have anything else to do. Realistically, honestly, speaking to ourselves, if you spend 4 hours a day just calling someone, just grab a list, go into wherever you get your data from and just pick a neighborhood and just start calling. If you spend 4 hours a day, legitimately, you work 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break, 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break, 50 minutes, take a 10-minute break. If you do that, and everybody you speak with, you just say, hey, my name is Alex, I'm the local real estate broker here, trying to get ahead of the spring market, and I was curious, when do you plan on moving? You will get business. You will get business. I mean, you could probably do a deal a week if you just do that. So just ask yourself, why aren't you?
We all just shortened. That was a master class, man. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
coming. Round of applause for this guy.
Thank you.
I'll tell you this. First of all, that's a master class. We just shortened more than 5 years, right? Stuff that he just shared, people don't know that in decades. I'll tell you this too. I know why he shared, because only less than 5% of you are going to apply that. Isn't that the truth?
Yes, that's the truth. So that is the truth. I mean, but the reality is, you guys, there's an abundance of business out there. You know, I think a lot of people, at one time I was really focused on canceled expires, and one of my biggest competitors was another agent at Properties. We're in the same coaching program, and like I would be like, I got to get to this listing before him, because frankly, one of us usually would get it. And so I would race to get to the canceled expireds, but the reality is that's not, especially in today's day and age, that's probably not. You got to call them, and you got to call them first, but there's so many other opportunities. So diversify your prospecting. The second thing is, he's right. I can't tell you how many I was at Properties for 10 years before I'm at the brokerage I'm at now. I can't tell you how many agents asked to shadow me, to pick my brain. And at my first couple of years there, I was like, oh, these fuckers, competition. I'm not meeting with any of these fucking guys. I have some magic formula. I didn't. You know, and for me, go to YouTube, you can figure out what everything. It's not hard. So then I'm like, yeah, I'm going to help them. And I'm telling you, I took people door knocking. They don't use it. They don't do it. And it is lunacy. You know, it's like a mental illness to know that you can do it. All you got to do is practice, and you're not doing it. Like,
I mean, Ed and I host role play call on pretty much daily basis. Wednesdays here, Fridays.
Morning, before they even play the game, okay, they put 100 balls in the putting green, and they do 100 putts. And then they start with their 9-iron, and they do 100 swings with the 9-iron. Then they go to their 8, 100 swings, 7, 100 swings, 6. They do it. They're wedging. They're pitch. What do you call it? A wedge, right? Mm-hmm. Pitching. They go through every club 100 times. Okay, and then they play a couple rounds, and that's practice. All day long, 8 hours a day to play one game, and these are amateurs. And then they get a camera, and because maybe the ball, sliced a little bit, and then they're like, okay. It's sliced that way. I'm going to adjust my hand just a little bit. Let's see what happens. No, just put a camera on me. I want to make sure let me watch myself in the camera. Like just like a football game, they play a game, they look at it, they reevaluate. Oh, I see what happened. When the quarterback went like this, his foot position was off. The slightest details to become great are applied. And people become much better. But that's what, even the greatest of the great, Kobe Bryant, okay? I think it was in an interview or somewhere I saw that he literally said that when he missed a shot, so what he did was he evaluated on film. He kept on looking, how did I miss it? How did I miss it? Just to figure out that one shot. And then he realized that his elbow was a little bit off. First he was looking at his hand, and he's like, no, did I not follow through? How about like my supporting hand? And then he just realized his elbow should have been tucked in a little bit because it was a little out. It depends on how good you want to be.
You said something about diversifying your prospecting, and I was wondering about how frequently do you go door knocking, and how big is that?
I'll door knock every opportunity I have, because there's 7 levels of communication, and the most effective is face-to-face, belly-to-belly. Okay, and then of course it's conversation, a video, text, etc. And it just gets worse. And it's interesting. Remember when I said you're playing with a bunch of 5th graders out there? You are. Do you mean the agents? They don't want to call, and they'll spend money sending mailers. Like, we're business people. Like Rafa and I talked about this. It reminds me, and now this will resonate with anybody that works out. It's insanity that people can do one of 2 things to get in shape. 2 things, I'm sorry. They can do 2 things to get in shape. Who knows what that is?
Work out, eat clean.
That's it. It is 100% assured that they'll get in shape, but yet they'd rather go out and buy the magic diet pill. They'd rather look for the latest diet gimmick. And real estate agents are the same. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to fall into that trap. Sending postcards, your social media, okay? You only do that when you know the basics first. You cannot paint a house before you build it. So you got to build it from the foundation up so it's strong, and then you can do the social media. Maybe you can send some postcards out, you know? But again, I mean, why would I spend money on postcards when I could just knock the neighborhood? And then I'm face to face. Like, they know who I am. I'm in a suit, you know, I'm smiling, I'm super friendly, charismatic, talking to them, asking great questions, finding out who else they know. I'm exhausting that conversation. At the gym, your work, man of faith, you know? Any family members that are old, you know, may die soon? I mean, you can go on, right? Like, there's so much opportunity out there. Just think bigger than what you think that you currently know.